Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Beautiful Chrome. We are back for the 13th episode. It's the spooky one. No, it's actually not spooky. It's the Father's Day episode of the DNanime podcast. I am here with my boy, Vic Seal, and we're here to talk about all those daddies, all those dilfs, all those good papas. And I hope you guys are excited. There's what like this feels like the other side of the coin of the Mother's Day episode that we did not even a couple of weeks ago. And lo and behold, a lot of the daddies ain't dead. So, the mothers die in anime, the dads are just absentee fathers, but we're going to talk about some of the best papas that we could find and speak about, man. So I hope you guys are excited. Hopefully you guys got something good for you in real life, papa, so they don't leave you to find a One Piece or buy a carton of milk and some cigarettes. You know what I mean? You got to keep your dad around, so buy him a tie. Buy him some milk. Go to the store right now, buy your dad some milk so you gotta leave. You know what I mean? And then we're gonna sit down here, we're gonna have some fun discussion talking about some anime papas.
All right.
Sorry, I kind of just ended it there, but how are you doing? Are you excited? Are you hyped for the 13th episode?
I am ready. I was going through it. This one was like extra good because we both had a little bit extra time to like look at our options. So I was like going through the list. This, like you said, was the opposite side of the coin for the Mother's Day one. Everybody's alive. They're all living. They're at worst, they're like they left for a little bit, but then they came back. Like they're all still alive. It was so different than the Mother's Day one. Why can't they let the moms live?
Dude, it was rough, man. It was just like a pile of corpses. I'm just sifting through them to be like,
yeah,
well, she was cool.
I'm standing on a million lives.
Yeah, it's like the one episode she was alive or the flashback that she was in. She seemed cool.
That was an anime title for anybody who got it. But I wanted to start off by saying one of the most popular ones that I almost didn't want to have on a list because it's just like so obvious that either both of us were going to have it or neither of us were going to have it. And that is going to be Iruka Sensei from Naruto. I think the universe can just fully agree that he is probably one of the best father figures in most of anime. He does so much for Naruto that's not just being nice. He's like a very strict person as well, so he really helps hammer ideals into Naruto as like he gets older, and then he really buckles down onto it at the end when Naruto asks him to be his father in the wedding, and I was like,
oh yeah,
that was like the best moment. So
I actually didn't put Iruka on my list.
Yeah, see, I wasn't gonna put him on mine either, but because I was like, oh, Crow might have him, and I was like, no, you know what? He needs to be brought up, but I don't want him to fill my slot, you know?
So. Yeah, so okay. So let me talk about Iruka Sensei for a little bit, right? So the reason why I didn't put him on the list is that we talked about him. I don't know if it was on a previous podcast or if it was just us talking. But I remember us bringing up Iruka and how great of a dad he was. And then I went on tirade talking about how shit Third Hokage was. Like every anime fan. Gave that man spoiled milk and ramen noodles and put him in a fucking 1x1 square apartment complex. And just like, Fourth Hokage, I'm taking care of your son. I was like, you piece of shit.
Dude, the whole time I was watching Naruto, I was like, there's no way that they actually told the third Hokage to like take care of Naruto, and then that's where he's at. I'm like, there had to be like some infrastructure set up for Naruto to be there, because he's like a 12-year-old kid in a dark apartment, and the only thing he can afford is ramen. And it's like, well, he loves ramen. At the same time, it's like, this is a child.
Yeah, like,
it's surprised he didn't like. It's surprised he didn't just like trip and knock himself out and die on his own.
Yeah, because it's like the third Hokage literally hooked up Naruto with his own apartment and some food stamps. So just like, you got it, you got a young blood.
Take it easy, like, I'll see you later.
Exactly, because like my whole thing was like when the show originally started, right? They didn't really reference that too much, so they kind of retconned it to be worse. But like I was watching, I was just like, oh, everybody hates Naruto. He a demon baby, so I get it. But the third Hokage was kind of cool with him and like being like, scolded him for painting the faces on the Hokages and everything like that. And I'm just like, okay, that's cool. The little grandson, grandfather relationship they have. I didn't think too much of it because I was, young at the time. Then like later in like Shippuden and stuff like that, when you get the whole flashback with Yamato, or not Yamato, but Minato, you were just like, you died protecting the village, you and your wife, and then you charged this man who's your mentor. Pretty much like, well, your predecessor.
We've grown up together. Like, hey, we know everything about each other. Take care of my son for me. I know you'll instill great values. All right, I'm gonna throw him in the corner. Never gonna see him again. I don't even think he like ever goes to like the Hokage's office either. So it's like you only see Konohamaru go in there. And that's it.
Yeah. And it's just like Naruto deserves
Like
to be Gaara.
he actually thought he was supposed to take care of Konohamaru, so he's just like, who's this dweeb over here? I got my own child.
Why is that kid crying? I gave him expired milk. Shut the fuck up. Dude, man.
I came back with the milk. It took me 10 years, but it did it.
But yeah, anyway, we talking about Iruka. Oh, not even talking about Iruka Sensei. But no, Iruka was awesome. The first episode of Naruto was fucking incredible. It got me hooked immediately. The sacrifice that Iruka did to show Naruto that him being alive isn't wrong and that people do care for him. And taking that giant, the only time those giant ninja stars ever hit anybody was directly to Iruka's spine in the first episode.
Yeah.
Other than that, people just dodge it.
I was like, I was like, wait, you guys are tuning? You guys are getting wrecked right now.
Ooh, yeah. Iruka does kind of suck as a ninja.
Yeah, a lot of people also like to. I actually didn't put Jiraiya on my list anywhere because I don't see him as like a father figure. I see him as a like a teacher. I think he's a great teacher. Like his mentor. I wouldn't call him a father figure, but I think he's a great teacher outside of the weird pervy stuff. When we got past that, great. When they were training him for the first time and he was saying like, can you turn into a sexy lady? And it was like, bro, I'm 12.
Yeah.
Banned on Twitch. TOS.
Cool uncle that you go to his house.
the cool uncle that sometimes says a little weird stuff.
yeah. Get a beer in him. He starts saying wild stuff. But Iruka's great. Yeah. Iruka's great, and he's such a pivotal part in Naruto's life. And like he's always there looking out for him. And I love their relationship and their bond, and them just going to get noodles. It was always a highlight whenever they were hanging out, and they're like, "Hey man, you want to go get Ikaraku ramen or whatever?" And I was like, this is so great.
The hell you say? You disrespect Ichiraku ramen?
Ichiraku, dude,
Ichiraku, how dare you say whatever the fuck you just said?
I tried to mumble that shit, man. Shut up. I was like, it's Ichi something, man. I'm tired. But yes, ramen.
Yeah, that ramen looks so good. I would love to have Ichiraku ramen.
I want to eat real authentic ramen because of that shit. So good.
I've had authentic ramen. I've had like two different kinds of authentic ramen. I've had the ones from like a stall in the middle of town, and then I had one that was like in a small shop in the hotel. And the one in the hotel we knew was going to be really, really good because we couldn't order correctly. The guy didn't speak English. So we're like, this is about to be the best fucking ramen that we ever had.
Was it good?
It was delicious. It was really bad to like reheat though, because I had spinach in it and then the little container that they kept it in.
Yeah.
It just like really became like really potent. And I was like, all right, I can't really reheat spinach like this. So
yeah, unless you Popeye, that's not a good look.
Yeah. But yeah, so ramen is really good. The one from the little like marketplace, I didn't know that they replaced their noodles with bean sprouts sometimes. So when I had it
really?
at the stall place or the little marketplace, I couldn't figure out why my ramen was crunchy. So I was like, some of them don't taste right here.
They put that snap, crackle, pop in your ramen.
I was like, I don't think I've ever had crunchy noodles before, so.
But yeah, I don't know. That sounds suspicious. It sounded like they were just like, we're gonna give you the bad ramen.
Yeah, I mean, I ordered the special, like on their little specials list, and it does say in the like fine print that they put bean sprout in it. But I didn't realize that how much bean sprout they put in it. And I also didn't realize that it was like a separate thing. So it was still ramen, but it wasn't like on their ramen menu. It was like their specials. So they replaced the noodles with bean sprouts. And I was like, what the this was an error.
Yeah, it's not like something that like one old guy who always goes there gets.
Yeah.
But yeah, Iruka Sensei, a daddy for Naruto, because the real daddy, with daddy gone, daddy got stabbed by a big nail. But he had Iruka, which is awesome. It's crazy how Iruka's not really in the show that much, but he has such an impact whenever he's on screen.
His presence, he's actually like your dad. Like you go out and something happens, and then you come back and he's there for you. Yeah. So it's not like he has to. Your father figure doesn't have to be standing next to you the whole time. They just have to be there for you when you need it. I actually didn't put Shikamaru's dad on there either, but his like special mention to him. Now I'm thinking about it. He did fantastic as a as a dad. He did a really good job of like letting Shikamaru like feel his emotions. Like a lot of like not so great dads are like, man, suck it up, be a man. And Shikamaru's dad was not like that. He was like, if you need to cry, cry. Now's your time to do it. And so he like, and not even just was like, he wasn't even just like, if you need to cry, cry. He like gave him the space. Like he told him to do it, and then he left and was like, I get it. Take your time, do what you need to do, and then he walked away. And I was like, that's huge. It's such a small thing, but like it like puts so much into like a bond between Shikamaru and what's his name? Shikaku, I think his name was.
It's Shikaku. I know that because it's on my list.
Oh well, here we go. Well, number one pick from Crows.
Let's talk about him.
So let's talk about him. Go ahead, I'll let you take it away from here.
Okay, I don't remember why we talked about him previously, but you really didn't remind me of that scene, you know, after Asuma's passing, you know? And it's been so long since I watched Naruto weekly, and it's crazy. But that scene is so special to me because that's what you need sometimes. And I feel like a lot of people, again, like you said, some dads in real life are just like, hey, man, suck that shit up. Ain't no crying. You got to be a man. You got to put dirt in your wound. You gotta always be headstrong. Headlong crying is the sign of a
tough it up,
baby.
Suck it up.
You know what I mean?
Put some elbow grease in it. Rub the salt in the wound.
Yeah, and it's like having that emotional maturity to be like, hey, you need to get this out. You need to get this out because it. You know, let's look at it in universe, right? One of the major points of story beats about Naruto is revenge, and you let that kind of hatred fester for somebody, it'll destroy you. I mean, it's a common story beating a lot of
you end up in the Akatsuki.
Yeah. With your hateful eyes, I'm gonna lock my mind on you. All the dumb shit.
Angry eyes.
Yeah, my angry eyes. I kill everybody. But, you know, so Shikaku coming to Shikamaru and being like,
the
hey,
Uchiha were the only ones that had bad dads. And then even Sasuke's dad like redeemed himself sort of at the end.
Kinda.
Wow.
I don't know about that one.
I mean,
you know,
okay, so when
Itachi,
yeah, I was like, well, I don't know how true the like genjutsu that Itachi put Sasuke under was, but it made him seem more human at like at the end, where he was just like, he was probably a better dad to Itachi than he was to Sasuke, but we mostly saw him with Sasuke, and then it was like all bad, and then it was like when Itachi had to do Itachi things, he was much more like understanding.
Yeah, because he was like, Itachi's like the quintessential Uchiha. He got all those fireball jutsus. He's all specialized.
What he dreamed of in like a perfect Uchiha was like Itachi.
Yeah, because I think that his dad pretty much treated it like Orochimaru did. He was like, yo, this boy's going to have it. He got the Mangekyo. He's going to be our ace in the hole when we take down the village and take over. I think that's what his dad was all excited for. So he's looking at Sasuke. He's like, Sasuke, your little fucking Italy fireball that you shooting out your face is garbage.
How dare you not evaporate this lake on the first try? You, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. He was like, you need to kill the third Hokage. So I need you strong. But yeah, so again, not the best dad.
But yeah,
you know,
we're not here talking about bad dads. We're here talking about good dads like Shikaku.
Exactly. But no, I really like Shikaku. Again, him instilling all of those life lessons into Shikamaru was awesome. And you see, like, that's one thing that I really do like, because you see that passed on through Shikamaru, through his children, and how he advises Naruto before the end of Shippuden and as well into Boruto. Like, he takes those life lessons, he keeps them, you know, at heart.
Yeah.
And Shikamaru is one of my favorite characters in Naruto for that reason. Like, his intellect feels realistic. Like, he's not out thinking everybody like fucking Light from Death Note and like coming up with
he doesn't ever pull a I thought of that 75 moves ago kind of moment.
That shit up 3 episodes ago,
intelligence felt like reactionary, like he could think things through faster. That he had like more of an in-depth knowledge of just like standard things. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna see into the future with my intellect, but it was like a human level of intellect. Like he felt more relatable because it was like you could reach that level theoretically. Like you could be that smart. It's not like I don't have a supernatural being telling me things that I shouldn't know. Everything that he could piece together was something that he he either had the time to think about or like he could get it with the information at hand. And that was what made Shikamaru really cool, but Shikaku was the one who was like instilling that in him.
Yeah, he was the OG of that shit.
Yeah, because he was also super smart, and then he also like he would have the moments over what's that game, Shogi, that they were playing.
Shogi. Yeah.
And they would just have their like moments where they could just be smart in each other's presence, and I think like he really nurtured that intelligence in Shikamaru, even though he was like really lazy. But he did so many good things that made Shikamaru grow into like a very powerful individual without the need of like some other creature. Probably like one of the most skilled shinobi outside of like the Jinchuriki. And he's really only held back by his like small chakra pool.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what I love about Shikamaru. You know, obviously the show got away from it, but he feels like a ninja ass ninja. And I love that about him.
yeah.
Like his look, his aesthetic, the way that he, you know,
Even his
tactical
jutsu
about his
type
battles.
is the more ninja style. His shadows?
Yeah.
Come on.
The shadows, like it's so sick.
He's
dude.
the ninja of ninjas.
Yeah, like I've always loved that about Shikamaru. Like he's so cool, and all the cool shit about Shikamaru he learned from his dad, and that's why Shikaku is on this list. So Vix, who is your first dad that you want to honor on this Father's Day?
So I have some fathers on here that I went a route where I figured that they would not be normally thought of. I do have some pretty popular ones on my list, but I'm gonna stick to the ones that are not well known. The first one I'm gonna go with, I'm not even sure if I can say his name right.
Oh Lord.
It's from The World's Finest Assassin, was reincarnated as an aristocrat. And honestly, it was strange. It is the dad of the main character, Xian Tuathe.
The hell you just say?
Yeah, exactly. They are a family of assassins, and they basically train their children to be assassins from the beginning. Like as soon as they're born, they go through like multitudes of trials and like trainings and flexibility trainings and magic tutors. They're very wealthy, and they have a lot of resources, and they're like well connected. And as the main character's father, he puts him through like very difficult trials, but he's very like I don't even know how to say it. Like he's like there all the time. It's so hard. It's like without watching it, because every time he puts him through a trial, he's like, "Are you sure you can do this? Do you think you can do this? Do you think that this is good for you? Do you feel like this is something you're capable of?" He's very like gentle, even like for a family of assassins that's trained to kill people on sight, like immediately. He's very gentle, and he's very like him. And then like, oh damn, the mom was one that I could have put last time. Mom was still alive. But him and the mom are very like loving towards him. And I'm not even gonna say it's like weird. Like they have a normal, like his mom is like the Maze Hughes of that world. So like she's very affectionate, but she's not like Momoko, where she's like, I'm trying to get in your pants kind of weird.
Oh Lord.
But she's very like, yeah, she's like, I don't even remember the dude's name, like the main character's name, because they're like, I don't even know what language this is. Spanish or something? Like Italian? I think it's Italian. But the main character's mom is very loving, and then the dad is very gentle, and then it's really great. And it did get announced for another season, and I was really excited because it was really good. The first season I think was really good. Didn't read the source material, but the first season was really good. So I hope that they keep up going the direction that they have been going. I hope they don't change it too much, because like they're really building up for. That was the one back when we did the power moves. This was the show where he did the Spear of God. It was this one where he basically summoned a missile from outer space with his magic. And it was his dad. It was his dad that did it. It was his dad that like taught him how to use magic and how to like be an assassin. how to, although technically he didn't really need to learn how to be an assassin because he was the world's finest assassin already reincarnated. But I think his dad was very good at like instilling the laws of the world on him, and he like gave him the opportunity to like find out a lot of things on his own, so he wasn't like suffocating. So I think he was going to be one that's overlooked a lot because one is the show's not mainstream, and two, he doesn't get a lot of screen time, and if you're not watching like close enough, you might not notice that he's doing something like that. Like he's like asking him to do these things for the most part. Like I think there's a couple times where he like really pushes him, but I think it's because it's more of a I know you can do this kind of push it more so than you have to do this kind of push it. So that's why that guy is going to be on my list. I'll put a picture of him like right up here or something on the podcast.
Yeah, we should probably put like some reference stuff.
Yeah, there's open space in the corner. Maybe I'll like slide the images of them up there. I did that for when we did the manga or the manhwa one where I slid them on screen. So, but
we working on it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to stay like away from the mainstream as much as possible, and then at the end I'm gonna mention my mainstream ones. You can stick with whatever you want, but I know that there's some that are gonna like fly under the radar just because like we're both shonen guys. Like you watch a lot of shonen, I watch a lot of shonen, but I know that there are dads out there that are not in shonen that definitely like were top tier, and they need to have a spotlight too. So yeah. That said, we're going to go on to your second one. And we're going to see like who you think really, this is in no particular order, by the way. I didn't do like a tier 1, tier 2. So we're going to see who else is going to be on Crow's radar. So yeah, let's see where he takes this.
Okay, so I'm actually going to, that was a perfect segue because I wanted to do this character next. So you mentioned the character that's on my list. I won't go into him. I'm going to go into him last. But I wanted to bring up this character, who is the quintessential shonen main character, Goku.
I knew it. I knew it. I almost said it too. And right there at the end, I was like, we're shonen guys. They don't all have to be like Goku. I knew it was going to be there.
Okay, this is why I want to get on my soapbox. Do I have a box here I can stand on? But no, this is why I want to get on my soapbox, because in the anime community, Goku gets a bad rap, right? Everybody's always there we go.
Goku's not that great of a dad.
Goku is a fantastic dad. What information that he got on life? Is he would he maybe have his kids taken away, making him go fight a big monkey? Maybe, but come on, man. Goku loves Gohan. Like some of my favorite moments. Okay, so I'll get into this first. So Goku gets a bad rap, obviously, by the anime community because he blows himself up or he die and he's gone for like a bajillion of years. But the reason why I say Goku is a great dad is for those moments of him and Gohan just hanging out, especially early Dragon Ball, like them going fishing or them spending time, or he's just like showing off Gohan to everybody.
Every time I remember them together at least in Z, they're like training. That's it. Well, it's because the world's about to end. So
so it's not. So that's like the Cell Saga. But like before that, like they were spending time together. Like it's very early on Dragon Ball before Raditz and them got killed. But you know, like it was so sweet seeing him with Gohan and be like, "Hey, everybody, here's my son." And he's like, he got the 4-star Dragon Ball on his head. And like you watch him in the Dead Zone movie, how he talks about Gohan and how much he cares for Gohan and how much Gohan cares for him. He's just like, "Daddy," and like I love their relationship. Is it not the best sometimes? Sure. Goku is a meathead. He cares about training. He cares about being strong. He wants his son to be strong. Obviously, Chi-Chi's there to be like, no, I want to be a scholar. And so Gohan always says
I'll give you this. I think Goku intends to be a good dad.
Yeah.
I think he only knows fighting. Like he's been fighting since like he was literally a baby. So I think that him always training with Gohan and anybody is like his version of showing affection. The only issue that I have with Goku as a father is he doesn't instill any messages in anybody. He's just like, he spends time with people until they're like almost dead. And then he's like their hallucination of him being like, you can do this, and it's like, well, you went power of friendship on me there, and you're not even real.
So no. So let me educate you, young lad. But no, like in the Saiyan saga, when Vegeta was going around beating the shit out of them, Goku was telepathically a power that he just randomly has. I don't know how that works, but whatever.
It was King Kai. They were getting it through King Kai.
I know, but he does it like in like Namek, where he reads Krillin's mind. Like he just walks up to Krillin, he puts his hand on his forehead, and he's just like, "Oh, you guys have been through a lot of shit." Like he reads his entire mind.
No, that wasn't King Kai. That was what the fuck is his name? That was the King of Namek, the fat dude.
No, yeah. Goku literally goes to Krillin and puts his hand on his head. It wasn't a potential unlock. Goku just does that and catches up on everything they went through with Frieza.
Yeah, I do remember that now.
Yeah, and I'm just like, when the fuck did you learn how to do that? He never used it again.
I didn't interpret that as like mind reading. I figured that he felt the like tension, and because he was listening to the whole thing through King Kai though, right? So like he was already aware. So I think it was more of like a consoling, more so than him reading his mind. So, I mean, if he did read his mind, then it's like, where did you get that power, and why didn't you ever use it again?
But yeah, so it's like my whole thing with Goku is like he's always trying to train Gohan to be strong because he knows what's coming. He's looking for somebody to succeed him as the protector of Earth, which is important because there's always somebody there trying to take over or destroy the planet. And he's like, I want my son to be strong to survive this because I'm not always going to be here. And that's what the Cell Saga was all about. And some of my favorite moments is when him and Gohan are training. Like after they get done with the main training of teaching Gohan to go to Super Saiyan, they just spend time together. And that's when you get like the fun, like slice of life, like filler stuff where they're all out, you know, when they leave the time chamber and they're like, hey, we don't need more time in there. We're just going to perfect Super Saiyan and do all this shit. And they were hanging out, spending time together, relaxing, trying to get comfortable, being Super Saiyan all the time, spending time with Chi-Chi and stuff, cooking food, cooking dinner, and just getting to talk to each other. Those moments are awesome. And I get it. The whole meme is like Piccolo is actually his dad. But I genuinely think that Piccolo is Gohan's older brother. Like, that's what their relationship feels like to me. Because Piccolo's only 4 years older than Gohan. Like, technically, he just grew up. But he was only 4 at the end of, like,
Mechians age at different rates.
Yeah. So he's only, like, maybe, like, 4 or 5 years older than Gohan. So that was, like, he always felt like just, like, Gohan's best friend and his older brother. That's how I always took the relationship. Obviously, he trained Gohan and raised them. But for all the complaints you just said, that's the same shit with Piccolo.
I mean,
like Piccolo, all he did was beat the shit out of him and he trained him. And everybody like, Piccolo better dad. It's just like, he did the exact same shit Goku did.
People like Piccolo over Goku because Piccolo felt like he was instilling lessons into Gohan and Goku was not. Goku was just like, hey man.
But who instilled those lessons into Piccolo? Goku. Goku
did he
can't
though?
do everything he did.
Did he though? I don't believe that. I don't believe
the shit out of him, but he was just like, I'm self-sacrificing myself to kill Raditz. And
that didn't teach anybody anything.
No, man.
Piccolo was probably like my fucking chance, bro.
Yeah, and then like in the Cell Saga where you're just like, Gohan, you know, don't feel bad. This is not your fault that you got a little battle crazy and Cell about to get all chubby and blow up. I'll take care of this. I'll sacrifice myself. You know, be good, son. Be kind. Be gentle. And live your best life. He teleports to self-sacrifice himself and blow up.
Then he blew up King Kai's planet, so he didn't sacrifice just himself. He sacrificed like
he's fucking stupid. But,
yeah.
But I think Gohan is a fantastic dad. I love him and Gohan's relationship and how it evolves. And then he seems so proud of Gohan whenever he does want to train, and also when he's also being a scholar. Like he supports his son, but all he knows is battle. That's it. Like you said, ever since he was a kid, his whole Saiyan blood and his whole upbringing has been battling. So that's all he knows. And even then, he raised a well-adjusted, incredible son with the help of a thing. It takes a village, Vix. It takes a village to raise a child. Goku did what he could to make sure his son was strong enough to survive this hellish world they're in, fighting dinosaurs and shit at the age of 4. And then the village came together for everything else while Goku's being dead all the goddamn time. And he's also a really good dad to Goten. It feels like Goku calmed down in his older age. Because he just treats Goten like a baby. He's just like, hey, little guy that looks just like me.
Well, the world's not ending anymore, so he can he has the time to be a little bit more lenient.
He was doing. He was like, Gohan, I need to make y'all strong so that the world can know peace and that you guys won't need me anymore. You guys will be the protectors from now on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Goku, any part of Goku taught anybody to be well adjusted. I am fairly certain that it was Chi-Chi that would do that.
It was Chi-Chi. It was Piccolo. It was Goku. It was everybody. Everybody taught Gohan little nuggets of wisdom.
Yeah, Gohan just get brain damage from 6 different ways, and he just ended up okay. So he was like, every time he got hit, it went into the negatives, and then he would just like bounce back and forth.
Dude, I don't know how Gohan isn't like dealing with severe trauma. That man had like that boy, he was a kid. He's 5 years old on Namek, neck snapped, neck broken. Goku gets there, hey son, eat this bean.
Somehow the
like,
most
man,
normal person in the group.
Dude, Dragon Ball is wild. But in a world of hellish battles and world destroying monsters, learning how to be strong is a good lesson to be taught by your father. And then Chi-Chi and everybody else is still being kind. Even Android 16. There are a lot of people who are looking out for Gohan, and Goku was there to make sure that he survived long enough to get those lessons. I say Goku's a good dad for the world and how he was raised. I really, really like Goku as a papa. So fuck all you haters.
Well, I mean, you can't always have good takes, and we'll let you have this one.
All right, says Mr. Oh, the Cowboy Bebop's a bad anime. Shut up.
Don't forget about it. Teehee, lol. But yeah, I mean, like we all interpret it differently. I interpret it as child abuse, and you interpret it as good fatherships.
The whole world is abuse. The whole world is abuse.
It's fine though. He somehow adjusted correctly. But we'll move on to the next one. So this one, I think this one is technically shonen, but it's not like a battle shonen. And
okay.
I need to put this one out there because this is going to be my number one. This is my number one dad. I can't see anybody in anime beating this guy in terms of fathership. You sound like you know who I'm about to say. Who do you think it is? Byakuya Ishigami from Dr. Stone. Byakuya Ishigami. There is no way that anybody could ever out dad Byakuya. There's no fucking way. Even before the petrification beam, they flash back to him and he's like, he sells his car so that he can buy a big science set for Senku so that Senku can like experiment and do his science things. And then even beyond the petrification beam, when he's like up in outer space, he's still talking about how much he loves his son. And then when the world turns to stone and we see the flashbacks for Byakuya, it's always him. He's always thinking about Senku forever. Like he's turned to stone, no idea where Senku is at right now. It's just like the 6 of them or whatever trying to survive. And he literally for decades gathers like small little tiny bits of platinum because he knows that he has so much faith in his own son that he can bring the world back, that he's like, I will die getting the materials for my son to survive. And he does it. And they don't show his relationship to his like further children, but nobody has like anything bad to say about him. Like they never say like he was like a grumpy old man. And even in his like elder years in the flashbacks, they always show him like happy, and he's like, well, happy, but you know, you can always sense like the underlying sadness from like losing Senku for the time being. And then it's like everything that you see is him. And then the crystal disc at the end of season 1, if you haven't watched Dr. Stone and you plan on it, spoiler warning right here, the ending of season 1 when Senku gets the crystal record, that was some of the most tear-jerking, heartstring pulling shit I have ever heard in my life. It was so good.
I cried. I legitimately cried.
I was right there. I didn't cry, but I was right there.
I fucking cried. I wept.
I had to pause it. I could feel like the tears welling up in my eyes. Couldn't read the subtitles. Had to pause it. So I was like, it was so good, and it was like you could tell, even 3,700 years apart, they could still like, you could see that Byakuya was still reaching Senku's heart. And I was like, that is a dad. That is like the dadliest dad of all dads. And there's no like, how do you even do better than that? He for literally 100 years was like prepping for his son. How many dads do you know like in real life that would sell their whole ass cars for a science set? for
Yeah.
their son.
That's the thing. Dude,
That might not have been that
whole-
responsible, but
Yeah, but that's what I loved about it. So my whole thing with Byakuya, and why I have him on my list as well, for everything that you said, but that flashback was just amazing because you could tell like he couldn't relate to his son. His son's a genius, but he gave everything to do everything for him.
yeah,
Like,
he was very. I don't have to know. I just know
Yeah.
that it makes you happy, and that's all I
man,
need
it's
to know.
important to you, so I'm gonna do it. And that shit's fucking beautiful. Like that's such a I don't know, man. That shit tugged on my heartstrings so much that he was like willing to give everything for his son because he knew that his son was going to do great things for the world. And even when some crazy, insane sci-fi fantasy stuff happens where everybody's turned to stone, he's still thinking, my son, because I know my son and I trust my son and I raised my son. That having that faith in Senku was fucking beautiful. And the whole flashback, him just constantly thinking about Senku while Senku's listening to the crystal disc and kind of like watching his father like do all this stuff and set up all this stuff for their success. It was fucking beautiful. The entirety of that flashback
It was so perfect.
incredible. And him,
I don't know
even
how
just
they
going-
came up with that. Like when they were writing the script for it in the even in the manga part, because the manga wasn't too far off from it either. How do you come up with that? How do you
Yeah.
can make those connections? That was incredible. Props to like the writers and then even the animators. Who did the animation for Dr. Stone? Was it Wit?
Yeah, I'm
I
not
think it
sure
was
who the
Wit.
stone, it might be. I'm not sure who the studio is that worked on it. I know the art in the manga is done by Bochi, who drew Sunken Rock, one of my favorite mangas or manhwas. So the art's always looked amazing, but the animation studio like that worked on it did an amazing job. That whole like flashback part of season one, because my whole thing with Senku was like he was always the analytical, smart scientist guy who's like, I'm making all these plans, I'm prepping all this stuff, we're doing all this work, and we're setting up for the future as we slowly bring ourselves back from the, no pun intended, the Stone Age. And so when you've seen all this, you're just like, oh, Senku's always like thinking and trying to plan stuff and trying to make sure everything goes right, take care of everybody. But in that moment, his father took care of him. And seeing Senku
Almost
get
4,000
emotional-
year into the future. It's
Dude,
crazy
it was-
like that. He knew he
oh.
was like, if anybody was going to be able to get out of the stone world, it would be him. And it was
that
ooh, I mean, he was right.
Like,
I mean,
yeah,
but-
that's crazy.
yeah.
But
I
that's
don't
what was like,
think
it
if
was
I
awesome.
was one of 6 people left on the entire planet, I don't think my first thought would be my son got this.
Yeah, I'd be like, man, this fucked up. Where Burger King at? I want a McDonald's. This fucking sucks. But
Dr.
yeah, no,
Stone
like,
studio was TMS Entertainment,
I don't know what they worked on.
formerly
other than
known
that.
as Kyokuchi Tokyo Movie.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah. What else
But
did
they
they
did a
make?
kick-ass job. And honorable mention, I wanna have an honorable mention for one of my favorite things about the flashback was one of the characters, the English speaking, what was her damn name? Lillian Weinberg.
Oh,
I
the
loved her so
singer?
much. Yeah, the singer chick. One, the song that she sung was beautiful.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
that-
I was like, they actually got a good song in there too,
Yeah,
which
that
didn't
was
help
sick.
my heartstrings.
Yep. Dude, I'm telling you, I was sitting there just tears just running down my face, man.
I was ugly crying.
Yeah, dude, the big Vaseline anime tears, that's what I had. And but my favorite bit with Dr. Stone is that they got an English speaker to sing the songs in English because she's supposed to be English,
Yeah.
but she's talking Japanese. So every time she was talking and she would start singing, it would just sound like a totally different person. And I don't know if anybody watched Oliver and Company back in the day, the Disney animated film with the orange cat and the dog. But it always reminded me of how like the main dog, I forget his name, but he would talk normal. He's like, yeah, Street Side Warfare. And he started singing as Billy Joel. And it was like a totally different voice. That's what it always reminded me when Lillian started singing. Because it should have just sounded like an anime girl. And she just started speaking like a normal white woman. I'm just like, what's going
I
on?
didn't hear that. Did you watch it in English?
Yes.
Oh,
No, I watch it. Wait, no, it's in Japanese because she speaks Japanese, but she sings in English.
it didn't sound that different to me. It sounded reasonable.
I know. They did a good voice match. It just was hilarious to me. The dichotomy of it.
You just pinged it and then it was like you couldn't unhear it.
Yeah, it was just so funny to me. 'Cause I was just like, she was just speaking Japanese, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I was English this whole time. Let me sing in English." But the song was wonderful.
I was about to
and
say,
that
I was
whole
like, that's
flashback was
another
great.
mom that we could have used, but she wasn't Senku's mom. She was mother to
Yeah.
the like future of the Ishigami village.
Yeah, future mom. Dude, it's kind of fucked up because now I'm thinking of like a lot of moms we could have put on the Mother's Day list. I was thinking about Ippo's mom. I forget her name is, but Miss Makinochi. She was awesome. Like her running the fish boat after her husband.
We should have brought up
passes.
Ash Ketchum's mom.
Well, Ash Ketchum. I mean,
She didn't do
I
much,
don't
but
know.
I mean, she was alive.
yeah, she was alive. She was there for Ash whenever he needed to call back home. She
Sort
was
of.
maybe potentially fucking a Mr. Mime. Who knows? But but she was around. She was alive. Delilah, I think that's her first name.
All right.
But it always reminds me of like the mom in Pokemon Silver and Gold who would just steal all your fucking money. I was like, bitch, I'm 10 years old. I'm out here making a living battling Pokemon and stuff like that. You keep taking my money to buy Snorlax plushies. What the fuck? But anyway, I had to cut my mom off. I was like, stop taking my money. But anyway,
I have fully like in the game when like your mom starts taking your money, I was like, she's got to give me something good eventually, right? So I just let her take my money the whole game.
like here's a stuffed animal.
one time she got me a Firestone so that I could get my Eevee into a Flareon. That was the only time she bought me anything useful.
She got a problem. Damn shopaholic buying me dumb bullshit. But anyway, this ain't Mama's Day. We're still doing Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Next, who is your next papa?
All right. I guess we're sharing that one, but
We are, yeah.
the rest of mine, I firmly believe you will not have on your list. I had to do that one early because I was like, if he didn't take it first, he's gonna take it second.
He's just so good, man.
I know. I mean, like that's why I knew you had him because he was so good. There's another one on my list that I'm almost certain that you have, but I'm not going to take him. I'm going to say Paul Gray Rat from no.
I was like, ain't no way.
I put him on my list to remind me to make that joke, but he's not. He's definitely not a top tier dad. I mean, like
No.
he kind of like fixes his deal a little bit, but he's not up there. He's like
I mean, he's
like
a better
mid-tier.
dad than he is husband.
yeah. But I will take. I got two here that I kind of want to do at the same time.
Ooh, menage a trois.
They're different though. They're like different. One of them is like kind of a shonen. Okay, so I'm just gonna say them both.
Yeah,
Sweetness and Lightning. It's a very like slice of life one. The dad Kohei Inazuka. That series was so like wholesome. It was.
Mhm.
It's about like a guy who lost his wife to an illness. I don't remember what the illness was, but it's basically him and his little daughter, and she's like 3, and
Yeah,
she's
anime
literally
mom
like the
illness.
sweetest thing to ever exist in anime ever. If you've ever seen the like little clip of the small child singing the shark song as she's walking down the like street line, have you seen that? You know what I'm talking
No.
about?
I might remember if
Yeah,
I
if you've
see
seen it, you might know what I'm talking about. But she basically is like, she's walking down the street in like alone because her dad is sick. Like this is like, he's a great dad, but she's also a great daughter. She's like 3 to 5 or whatever. And she leaves the house alone, which is a bad idea, but it's for good intention. Her dad is sick. So she leaves the house so that she can go get medicine. And she's like, think about that. She's fucking 3 and she's already thinking like to be good to her dad like that. And her dad is like so worried when he wakes up that since she's gone, and he's again like one of the most dads. He does like realistic human things that like he tries his best to take care of his little daughter. He shows her plenty of affection. He's like reasonably strict. He like when she is in potential danger, they even show him being like a little human where he loses his cool. Like I mean, like your 3-year-old daughter just freaking left the house. Of course you're gonna be freaking out. So he lashes out a little bit and then he like immediately apologizes and he's like, I didn't mean to be mad like that. But it's like, who wouldn't? You would be a little mad. So it's so just like living in their shoes. Like you just see them be humans for like the whole series, and they're like, the daughter is so sweet and loving and wholesome, and the dad does everything to like make sure that she's happy with, even though her mom's not around anymore. And he tries to like navigate the subject every so often when she asks about it. And it's like it's a tough topic to like bring up. So that one was that he definitely like I don't remember a whole lot about that show, but I do remember that he did really good about fathering the child. So he definitely deserves to be on the Father's Day list because outside of everything else, he was at the very least a fantastic dad in a real life sense. And since I didn't have a whole lot to like really nail down on that one, my other one is going to be in the same vein where I don't have like a grand scheme number of things, but the beginning part where they really hunkered down into his personality, that's the most important part. From Faraway Paladin, the undead father, Blood. He was like a undead warrior from the past, and he spends like he does this thing where he like trains with the main character, and they have like this little village of people that kind of raise the main character, and he definitely doesn't like hold back on like loving this new child. It's like it's a little strange because the family is like undead, but the main character's not. So it's quite a strange interaction to see him like talking to like the ancient warriors of the past and whatever. But he definitely does spend a lot of time like reaffirming Will and being like, it's okay to like feel, it's okay to be strong, it's okay to do this, that, and the third. He's very like supportive of Will, no matter like how he wants to do it. But then he's also like, he's like hard on him because he wants him to train and be strong so that when he goes out in the world, because like they're already thinking there's a time where he's gonna have to leave. He can't live with us undeads here forever. There will come a time where we will not stay undead anymore. And they're like, we need to make sure that he's ready for when that happens. And then they do a good job. They teach him life lessons very well, so that when that does happen and he goes out into the world, he's not totally screwed. Like he has a general understanding of how life should work in this world. This is an isekai, so he like already has some background knowledge. The crazy part about this isekai was that he tells them that he was isekai'd. So
oh, really?
So like towards the end of their like stay together, he actually tells them, hey, just so you know, a lot of the like strange behavior that you've seen from me that you feel like I shouldn't have known, it's because I came from another world. I was an adult in this other world. And then he tells them about his like past life and whatever. And so that they are like, they don't like freak out over it either. Like obviously they're confused and whatever, but they're like, oh, I now understand why you were doing all these weird things. So that was like, it was pretty like a nice little touch where it was a little different, but it wasn't like over the top. But there's also Gus was in that same show. He's not really a dad. He was like an uncle, but he was also very supportive, and he did kind of the same stuff where it was like, he was more like the fun uncle where he would just kind of like fuck around and do goofy things. And then they all like picked up Will to be a better person. So those were definitely very good. I think I said Mary in the Mother's Day one.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. I was like, this is the same anime where you brought up the other undead.
Yeah, that whole family was good. And they did all three of them were great. So
I want to watch this anime now.
Yeah, the second season was like, it was pretty okay. I don't think it was as good as the first one. The first one really left me hankering for the second season. And then the second season, they didn't do anything wrong per se. It just felt like it escalated too fast. Like the main character is just like overwhelmingly powerful, right? That's just how it is, isekais. And they don't like they don't really spend much time like on that front. They're just like, by the way, fight a dragon. And you're like, wait, what?
Legendary undead heroes from the past. You got this.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how it was. And then he also has like blessings from multiple gods and whatever. And so like he's definitely very powerful. And it was just like they just didn't give me enough time to like reach the humanity in him when he got like out into the world. He had like a couple of interactions with people, and then he didn't like. He like accidentally fell into a politician's position, and then he was like trying to work his way out of it, and he accidentally became a lord of the domain. And I was like, what? And it's like, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Like those were things that would probably be like rewards for what he did, but they were just like, it was just so fast that it was like, I can't like get my mental on the level that he's at before he moves on to the next one. And you're constantly playing mental catch up with him. But I mean, like, Fantastic Father Blood just kind of raised him to be that way. He had like a crazy starting point from that, like being raised from birth by 3 of the legendary heroes. Probably will put you there. So
you be better prepared to take over the world. But
yeah, well, he is considered a paladin of the lost god of light. So he is extremely gentle in his combat. Like he's very like of the people. He doesn't ever do anything to piss anybody off, you know, unless they do something like really dumb. Like I think he beats the shit out of like 2 people because they were starting a bar fight or something. But other than that, yeah, they really instilled into him like how to be a good person and whatever. I think he was like doing the change my ways kind of deals when he reincarnated. So he was like learning the ways of the world and like how to reenact or how to act out in public and whatever. And then when he got the blessing of the goddess of light, who is supposedly like, she, from what I understand, didn't have any followers left in the world. So when he became her follower, he was like the first one in like a century or something. So he had like a special blessing, and that's what gave him the ability to like heal. But since he was trained by warriors, he could also fight, you know, regular combat. And then he was also raised by 2 mages. So he was like the perfect all-rounder. so they raised him well and all that jazz. So that is, yeah. And that one also never gets into weird business. Like they never, well,
that's good.
That's one thing I'm going to have to like mention all the time is be like, hey, these are the characters that started off good and ended good. They never went into weird territory.
Skeleton Mommy didn't fucking try to hit on him or nothing.
Yeah, that would have been extra weird considering they were all undead. So. But yeah, in the first one, the Sweetness and Lightning one, yeah, he never gets super weird. It's literally just father son, loving father, loving daughter. They don't do any weird try to get together things like they try to pull in some anime for some fucking reason.
I don't get that, man. There's people outside your house. What the fuck? Stop writing these damn stories.
I know you spend a lot of time together, but come on.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man.
All right, so that's gonna be like my tied for third one. What else do you got? What's going on the list after this one? I think we take a short little intermission, chat for a little bit, and then we'll
can wind it on out. But yeah, so okay, my next father on my list. So you don't really spend too much time with him, but I feel like his presence really spoke for how big of a man he was. I wanted to throw this on there because I just really enjoyed the anime as well. But my next father would be Thor's Snorrensen, Thorfinn's father from Vinland Saga.
That's who I thought, but I was like, I didn't recognize the last name. I was like,
yeah, I didn't recognize the last name. They only call him Thor's. I think in the entire like part of the show, they always call him Thor's.
Yeah.
And again, I'm a shonen guy. I'm a meathead guy. I thought he was cool as hell.
Oh yeah, like, he was. They needed to show us more of Thor's. He was like, you could tell just by the one episode of us seeing him that he was already a good dad. Like, you could tell just by the little things that he said and that he did, and then he like tried to instill. If he didn't die in the first episode, Thorfinn's life would have been way different.
Yeah,
you could tell that he would have been down like a way better path.
Because, like, they did such an expert job of setting him up as a character to the fact where even the people that were attacking him respected him. Like, they knew him. They knew of Thor's. They spoke with reverence when they spoke his name. You know, in the few moments that you got with him, with his family, and Thorfinn, he just seemed like all-around good dude that had, you know, a checkered past of being a Viking. That he was trying to change his ways and live a life out here with his family. But he was like this giant pillar of a man that you just like, you feel like
they didn't want to mess with him like one-on-one. They just sent like a whole army out there. They're like, hey, look, man, either you join this entire army or this entire army fights you. And he was like, well, we'll see about that.
Yeah, and it felt like Can he do it? Like that's the
Yeah,
presence that
after
he
the
carried.
after the first like wave of attacks, when he like deflected all the arrows, you're like, wait a minute, are you gonna win?
It was so fucking cool. Like Vinland Saga was so like the first episode was awesome. Thor's was so sick, and then obviously, spoiler alert, he passes. You know, in the first episode, and then you're just thinking like, oh, Thorfinn, this child who was doing everything he could to try to help and protect his dad while he's going through all the stuff. That's the man he has to live up to. This giant fucking hulking wall of a man that even his enemies are like, we got to send everything we got at him, and even then, it might not be enough. Like that's for the amount of screen time he had. That was so fucking cool to me. Like I thought Thor's was so cool, and it got me so excited. Made me very sad that we weren't going to be able to see more of him because he deserved more screen time.
It also kind of made you sad throughout like the whole series as you saw Thorfinn go like down a darker and darker path like every episode, which it also ties all the way into the second season when he starts to like become more of a pacifist. That he's like falling back more into a path that his father would have approved of. Yeah. And so it like really it like brings Thor's back to the forefront of like Thorfinn, who was, you know, son of Thor's. So like he lives on
because because it feels like he sped run Thor's life. Where it's just like, all right, I'm this vengeful, angry Viking man running around here doing all these fights. And then, you know, like a little bit later, he's just like, you know what? All I want is peace. I have no enemies. You know, and I feel like that was Thor's whole character arc that we didn't get to see on screen. But we got to watch his son speed run it, you know, through different means and methods. But to kind of wind up at the same place because the teachings of his father, even through the hatred, even through the anger, even through the murderous kill that he wanted to do on, damn, what's his damn name?
Ashlad.
I said, yeah, I can't remember. I was like, Askeladd. It's something like that.
Yeah.
I always read it spelled out. Just like, how the fuck do I say that shit?
Yeah, they definitely say it differently than like the captions, the subtitles show, because it's like ASKEL or ASKELDD or something, and then they're like, yeah, Ashlad, and you're like, how the fuck?
Yeah, I'm like, can you use that in a sentence? Like, what the fuck? But yeah, like that was so cool to see, and I thought Vinland Saga was incredible. I still need to watch season 2. I'm slowly but surely catching up on anime, man. I'm doing it, and Vinland Saga season 2 is on my list. I've seen some stuff, obviously, just through the hype and everybody talking about it. But Thor's was just like again, I know we joked about like how Shikaku was like instilling, you know, like it's good to cry, it's good to be emotional. You got to get that out so that you can heal and be better as a man. And Thor's was also instilling those, you know, those lessons into his son in those last final moments.
Yeah, he just didn't have the time to like really like solidify the values of that stuff in Thorfinn, so he kind of like broke early.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can absolutely tell that if he had more time that he would have definitely been like a really good dad.
Yeah. And it sucks because, you know, obviously we did the Mother's Day episode where a lot of the mothers were gone, but and you know, there's some of the fathers who passed, you know, a little too prematurely as well. But there's always those little moments that resonate with the character and resonate with us, the audience, that will live on. Is that little voice in the back of your head just be like, hey, you know, my dad wanted me to be strong. My dad wanted me to take care of my family. My dad wanted to do this. So even through the hate and the bloodlust and the rage, you know, he was still there.
I think even the way that they wrote Vinland Saga, I think even the rage and the bloodlust speaks to like how good of a person that Thor's was, because it was like it was like that's how good he was that it caused such a dramatic break in his child. So like the darker that Thorfinn got made it look better on Thor's at the same time, which is like, it was crazy how that works, but they managed to do it really great because like the entire thing was revenge. And so the darker Thorfinn got, the brighter Thor's got. It was like that was really good writing on their part. I think they did a fantastic job on their writing for that show. I mean, the animation was also really top tier, which is almost to their detriment from the second season because it was such a change that everyone was like, yeah, I wanted to see more epic fights, and they're like, you don't. So, but even the writers and the animators in the second season, they still fucking knocked it out of the park. So definitely don't let that deter you. Just don't expect there to be, a fight every episode. So
Yeah. I mean, the first season is fucking jam packed to the brim, just leaking out with cool fights and awesome fight scenes. And just dude, the first season is so fucking good. Like again, a modern day classic. We don't really get, or I haven't really like thought about too many. Like, what would I consider a modern day classic? But I would handily, just off the back of the first season, I still haven't watched the second one yet, consider Vinland Saga a modern day classic. Like, anime wise, I guess.
Yeah, it'll definitely be like up there. It'll probably be more like probably along the same lines as like Attack on Titan, where everyone will know about it, but it's not like a family classic. You probably wouldn't show a lot of that stuff to like your mom or your sister.
Man, I'm
or
showing
whatever.
my firstborn kids who's pop out the womb. We watching Vinland Saga, baby.
Yeah. So Vinland Saga Thor is definitely very good.
All right, to wind out the podcast, me and Vix are going to do our last two fathers on this glorious Father's Day. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Hopefully you guys had a splendiferous Father's Day. Spending some time with your pops, buying himself a nice gift. And if you ain't got a dad in your life, hopefully you got somebody that you can, that you have as a father figure, somebody who instilled some life lessons into you. It's not just all about your biological parents. It could be a friend. It could be a family friend that you knew. It could be somebody else in your family who kind of stepped up, that took care of you. It's always important to kind of like, take a second to kind of like sit back and be like, hey, you know what? You helped me in those time moments. You left me with some knowledge, some wisdom, and instilled some life lessons in me. And just kind of like pay a little tribute to those people because, every now and again, you just got to be thankful that those people are in your life if you have them. If you don't, then hey, hopefully you had some fun, laugh with us as we talked about anime stuff, and you can chill with us with Father's Day. We could be your podcast daddies. But yes, we're going to go through my last one, and I'll talk about my last father. I don't know if this character is on your list. We talked about him a lot of times. I mean, it's one of the best animes of all time, and he's one of my favorite characters of all time. I want to talk about the boy.
Mace Hughes, Full Metal Alchemist.
Was he your character as well?
He was on my list, but he was not one of my last two because I knew you were going to bring him up. I was surprised you didn't bring him up to this point.
Well, I was saving him, but gotta save the best for last. But no, Byakuya is also like such a fucking good pick. I love Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone is amazing. But Mace Hughes is my favorite father because he literally just encapsulates what a father is. Like, whenever you see Hughes come up to anybody and he's like having a serious ass conversation because he's
just like, by the way, check out how cute my daughter is.
I love that. I love that so much. He loved his family so much. He was like such a good dad. He cared so much about his daughter. He was doing everything for her and his family and for the state. He was just like such a good dude. Like, I'm the type of guy that loves comedy relief or comedic characters.
Yeah,
but I love to laugh. Love to have a good time. And Maze, like,
as long as they don't like overdo it, man. Sometimes they just like they're too much of the comedy, and it's like the best comedic relief characters are the ones that are not always comedic relief.
And that's Hughes because he's not always jokey. He can be serious.
He was the fucking man.
Dude, he was fucking awesome. And spoiler alert for Fullmetal Alchemist and Brotherhood. But when is the moment when he gets tricked by Envy? And Envy shows up as his wife.
That was so fucked, man. You could tell that Maze was like, I know that you're not.
I know.
Yeah, it's like, I know that you're not my wife, but at the same time, he's like, I couldn't imagine a world where I would point a gun at my own wife. So even though it was a copy, it was like he just let it happen because he's like, he couldn't bring himself to do it.
Dude,
It's so good.
Broke me, man. And like Hughes was such a good dad to his daughter. I forget her name. It was like
I also don't know her name.
Damn it. Hold on, I want to look it up because I want to say it because all I can think about is Nina. Nina. But that's messed up. Alicia, I knew it was something with an E. The most adorable little kid. Again, I was with Hughes on that one. I was like, his kid is incredibly adorable. She was like the sweetest little kid, and his wife was awesome. And then he ends like that, and he was like a father figure to Ed and Al as well, because he was always trying to like when Ed and Al were with him during the anime, they were like a part of the family, and they ate with them, and they met his kid and his wife, and he spent time, and he was pretty much treating them like they were family, and it was like such a beautiful moment knowing everything that Ed and Al lost what they're fighting for and what their end goal is. He was like trying to teach them like the
Hohenheim like, down for bad dads.
Yeah, Hohenheim's going on next year's list. Oh my god! But yeah, so it's just like Hughes was just awesome to everybody else around. So when he passed, his death like resonated throughout the entirety of the show. You see how it hits, you know, Roy Mustang. Like Mustang was like devastated.
The famous line, "Looks like rain."
Oh, such a bad day for Rain. That shit killed me. That shit fucking killed me. Because on one level, you know how much it hurt him losing Hughes. On another level, you know how much Rain affects Roy in general because it makes him pretty much unable to fight. So like Rain, him standing in rain is a big deal because they always show him with the umbrella. They always talk about like if his gloves get wet, he can't use his shit. But he just stood in that rain in that moment and just cried. It had to lie to himself because he had to look good in front of his like co-commanding officer in Hawkeye.
I mean, Hawkeye handled that really good too when he said that, and she was just like, she just played along. At first, she was like, "There's no rain," and then he said it again, and she was like, "Oh, I get it now."
I'm getting goosebumps literally just thinking about it.
Chills of epic.
It's so sick. Hughes was one of my favorite characters, and that shit made me cry because I watched it originally when I was a teenager. I was just like, he was so fucking cool, and it was just sad, man. I liked Hughes so much, and he was just so awesome and kind and such a good father. And I will never forget at his funeral when his daughter was like, "When is Daddy coming home to play? When will Dad wake up from sleeping?" That shit killed me because, you know, his wife had to be like, she had to be strong, she had to be there, but obviously she just lost her husband, and it's just like, woo, that shit gets me, man. Every fucking time. Hughes, for the amount of time that we got with him in anime as a father.
And they gave him enough screen time to make you think that he was going to have enough plot armor to live that. Which is why when he didn't, you were like, "No, what the? There's no way."
Yeah, that shit was, oh boy. And that's when the moment where Mustang went the fuck off and was lighting them up, just wham, 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 just firing off like me. God, it felt so cathartic. It was so good. I was just like, "Fuck yes!" Like envy turned.
A lot of times I'll be like, when I see characters go off like that and they just like mass murder a specific person, I'm like, all right, man, you might have taken it a little bit too far. I don't think you took it far enough. He turned to dust, and it was like, you should have burnt that fucking pile of ashes even more.
There should be nothing left. Dude,
you should be being lit on fire to this day.
Yeah. But hopefully if he was sent to hell. But no, like I loved Hughes, man. Fullmetal Alchemist is one of the best animes for a reason. And that moment with Hughes and everything afterwards, woo! The Elrics like having to deal with the aftermath of it as well, knowing his family and knowing Alicia and his wife. Like, Fullmetal Alchemist is just one of the best fucking anime. Period. So good, dude. So good. I miss Hughes. I miss him. All right.
I know. I thought they were gonna give us like a backstory, like later on. Like, no, they're gonna do some when Ed and Al figure out the secret to human transmutation. They're gonna bring him back. I held out hope all the way to the end, and then I was like, "Fuck!"
And then got his dumb arm back, and his stupid brother
gave up his friggin' alchemy, and he took his brother back, and his brother gave him his arm back. It's ridiculous.
Bring back my boy. I don't care if you come back as a beef jerky man.
Give up your arm and leg again for Maze Hughes. If you just do the journey a second time, then you can bring back Hughes too.
Watch. We're gonna get another pocket watch. Say, don't forget whatever day it was. Go bring them back. But yeah,
remember the 5th of November.
my number one outside of Byakuya. Maze Hughes is great.
1 star. So for one of mine, obviously, if you were here for the live discussion, you realize that one of mine got taken off my list because anime. They wanted to do the cringe anime thing, so.
Wait, was that guy gonna be like your like big magnum opus one?
I mean, he wasn't my number one, but he was just like another one. He was just like a good dad all the way up until he married his daughter, and then I was like, well, Kira's not on the list. So I think for my next one, unless Nova's here in the chat, and he's gonna be like, no, 85 times in the chat. My daughter left the nest and returned as an S-rank adventurer. Dad's name is Belgrieve. he was like a dad amongst dads as well. So basically, when his daughter, for those listening, Nova's in the chat doing exactly what I said he was going to do.
See, this is why I stick to shonen.
God, wait, okay. I don't know if you're fucking with me right now, Nova, or if this is actually the case, because the daughter is a little weird about her dad. I will say that. So the daughter is like really like overly attached to her dad, but like at least in what I saw, it was more of like a daddy's girl kind of way. But if our resident source material reader were to be like, so she kind of broke that line, then I would be like, of course you did. Of course you did. But if it was her to him, I would get it. If it was him to her, I wouldn't understand it, because he is very fatherly to her, and then like outwardly he is like a father figure to like her party and stuff. But now I'm afraid to continue the list because I don't.
I'm paranoid.
Who's my other one? Who's my other one here? Okay,
Just
you know
Vegeta.
what? I'm gonna no. Wait, I got one. He's on my husbando list already. He's fine. I watched 6 seasons of this shit. If he has anything that is weird beyond that, I'm done with anime. Done with it. I can't. Not everybody can sleep with their children. Damn it.
Oh Lord.
So we're gonna like. Belgrieve is on there as a good dad, but I don't know enough about the source material to continue.
As far
as I have seen, he is a good father that has not raised his wife. So he was married at one point, which is why the daughter's like a little weird towards him. So no, I don't even know. No one doesn't even know. He just said that to fuck with me. Damn it.
Oh my God. All right, keep talking about the daddy.
All right. It's from, in case you missed it the first time, my daughter left the nest and returned as an S-rank adventurer. Father Belgrieve. He was actually like a E-rank adventurer, but he's like actually like sleeper strong, where his daughter's an S-rank, and he just like lays this smackdown on her, no problem, in like a 1v1. And dude's got like a peg leg because he lost his foot, which is why he stopped adventuring. And he, like, from her young age would like raise her to be like a strong woman, not just like an adventurer, but like a woman. This is his daughter, so not only like she's very confident in who she is because he instilled that in her. That was a lesson that he taught her, that she can be strong and she can outclass all of the other adventurers that will try to like diminish her accomplishments, and they don't ever get to really spend that much time together, but she talks about him a lot, and she kind of like reminisces about his past, and then you can see him being like a good person in their hometown as he just like does community things. He helps people that are like around the village and partakes in like the festivals and stuff. He helps with the like their little local government and stuff. So it's all like he is a good person. Don't fucking shonen me on this, all right? He's a good person. All right, our resident source from a reliable source that it does not, in fact, go down that road. So we are good. We are in the clear.
Just this in, he did not have sexual relations.
This just in, it is coming from our resident Nova that we are now in the clear.
Enjoy a show without fucking incest, man.
I didn't think I would have to be stepping on landmines here. I thought I was pretty good on most of these. But yeah, he's definitely like a good person, definitely a good dad. And if it gets another season, it wasn't like a blow your socks off type of anime. It was pretty generic in a lot of the aspects, but it was definitely good. It was like a nice change of pace to see like the life of an ex-adventurer. It was kind of like Walmart Freerin. It was just like a human after adventuring. He like lost his foot, so he's retired. So you just see him kind of live his life, and then you see him like get worried about his daughter, and he kind of like. He has some moments where he like loses his cool because he's like worried that she's gonna be overconfident, and you know, overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. So he was like extra sure to make to like make sure that she was aware that to not fuck off while she was in danger. So I think he was very good. Definitely an up there type of dad. I would like to have seen more of his adventuring days, but just seeing him as like an adult was pretty sick. It was pretty just like down to earth kind of stuff. And they tried to pull a lot of like the shonen stuff where they like have a character come up and like really hit on him and make it really uncomfortable. But they, instead of it being weird, you can see that he is uncomfortable and then he just like gently lets them down. So yeah, he definitely was good. You know, I said he had a peg leg. He had just getting started. He lost his foot to, I think, like a top tier demon king as like an E rank adventurer. So why he was even there, I don't remember. But if he had to retire from anything, at least it was from like the best. So, you know,
Yeah.
That's how I always say, like, if I gotta lose, then you better win the whole thing. So, but yeah, definitely top tier dad. My next one, I am like 95% certain that he does not do anything weird because I've seen 5-6 seasons of it, and I just don't see a world where that could happen unless it started going down boy love territory, but I don't think it will. So, so I'll let you go. Do you got one more, or do you just need me to take the last one?
I can just do an honorable mention.
All right, honorable mention me.
Well, I'll do 2 honorable mentions real quick. We talked about him a lot previously. Minato from Naruto, Naruto's father.
He would have been a good dad.
Yeah, he would have been if he didn't.
For the little bit of alive time, he was pretty good.
And also the film, like, again, you don't get a lot, obviously, with Minato. You get, you know, flashback inside Kurama's, you know, inside Naruto's stomach. Or
the film was the one where he fought Menma, right? Where they got like into the alternate world, or was that a filler?
No. The film I'm talking about is the one where Naruto went to the past.
Ah, okay.
He got to meet his father.
Because there was also I don't know if it was a filler or a different movie where there was like inverted world where Sakura's parents were dead and then Naruto's parents were still alive. I hope that was filler and non-canon, because if that was the flip world, that means that, like, because everybody's personality flipped in that. So
yeah,
Minato and Kushina were still very like caring and loving, but that would also insinuate that they would not have been in the real world. So
yeah, no,
so
I feel like they were just legit like
their flopped aspect was being alive instead of dead.
Yeah, that's what I think it was. I don't think that I think it was filler, and I think it was just really to point out, like, because, you know, early Sakura was kind of like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Or you're like, so what? Your parents is dead. Be better. And I'm just like, damn, bitch.
Damn. I mean, it definitely, like, if it were canon, then that would definitely have given her some insight into, like, Naruto's life.
Yeah, this is why I liked it. Is so her because I mean, I love Naruto.
That's why I can't really tell if it was like a filler or not, because it was good. It was like one of Bleach's fillers where you couldn't really tell if it was supposed to be there or not. So you're like, is this?
That's the annoying thing about Naruto, is that they intertwine filler and like real shit, and I'm just like, I don't know what's real.
When did you get here? But, did you have another honorable mention?
That's why he's an honorable mention, because I mean, you barely get a screen time outside of filler, a movie that's not canon. Him coming back as a
that Back in Time one was pretty good though. Like, I think all the Naruto movies are really good.
Yeah, like the moments are awesome, and you got to spend time with him when he was back alive as an Edo Tensei zombie or whatever. Like, all that stuff was really cool. I like Minato, but obviously he doesn't get a lot of screen time because he's killed off in the opening credits of the first episode. Where like, a long time ago, they came here and killed the Hokage and blew up everything. Demon QB and whatever, then baby. But yeah, so again, he's an honorable mention, and then my next honorable mention would be Lloyd Forger from Spy Family.
Ooh, I didn't even think about Lloyd. Oh, he's totally awesome. Thinking about it, like, I can't believe that I didn't think about him. He's I
wanted to put him on the list.
Definitely.
But I feel like I haven't watched enough Spy Family to really talk about it outside of like.
It's hard to say for real though, because a lot of his, like, he's trying to be a good dad for the sake of cover, not for the sake of being a good dad. So it's like,
but then you see him break.
Yeah, it's like he does good dad things that you wouldn't have to do, but it's like, is that because he doesn't know, or is that how he is? I think he does good things, but I think his motives are questionable for now. I feel like, I haven't read the source material. I feel like somewhere down the line he's gonna get like out of the spy work, and he's gonna like fill into the family, because you can tell that he's already starting to like develop some feelings for both Anya and Yor.
Yeah, And that's what I like about Lloyd as a character. Like, that's the whole setup, right? It's like a spy, an assassin, kid with psychic powers, all in a family together. How's that going to work? You know, because the kid knows all these secrets, but she's a dumb kid, you know, and then he's trying to be the best dad he can, but it's all a facade, it's fake. He's like, I don't care about them. I don't feel no emotions. I'm Twilight, the best spy.
And then it's like yours, the only one being like reasonable. Like she's hiding her assassin aspect, but she's like a real mom. Like she's not being a mom for the sake of cover. She's like, I'm gonna be a mom so that I can be a mom. Because I think I don't remember, but I think she thinks that Anya is like his officially adopted daughter. Yeah. So like they didn't get her after they did the marriage thing. They did it before, or he got Anya beforehand. So she is there specifically really to act like a mom for no other reason. Like that doesn't help her hide her assassinness other than being part of this family.
But she's just being a good mom who could kick ass.
But you can see that she like as a person desperately wants to be a mom. But like as Lloyd is, he is like, are you there because you want? I know you're not there because you originally wanted to be a dad, but are you doing dad things because you want this child to have a good dad, or are you doing dad things because it's your job?
And you want to kill this dude's dad or whatever.
You want to? Well, no, he needs to befriend this dude's dad so that he can get state secrets on the east or the west or whatever.
Well, yeah. Again, that's the whole thing, and I mean, obviously, that's the premise of the show. Is that weird relationship and dynamic that they have as a family.
Lloyd is more of a amendment than a than an honorable mention. Like, unless something weird happens, he's still a good dad.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'm
motives be damned.
Like my number one. But those are my two honorable mentions. Is Minato because we talked about it in the past, and I love Minato. He's fucking cool as hell. I mean, the Rasengan, amazing ninjutsu. And then Lloyd, just because, who knows? Where does his legion lie? Once the mission is done, he'll just, fuck off and then go back to being a spy. Like, what's going to happen? Obviously, it's probably going to work out. And they'll be a family for real, and they'll finally fucking kiss. But, in the meantime, and I'm talking about Yor and Lloyd, not the other stuff we were talking about earlier. But, they'll be an actual family. And I hope that they do, because Yor, I love her. She's fucking awesome.
Lloyd, I would like for them to, find out about each other's secrets. And then, I want them to work together now.
Yeah,
but I don't know how that would work, because I don't know which side Yor's assassination group is on.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're like a mercenary for hire, or if they're just like, yeah, I work for the West, I work for the East, or whatever.
It'd be like Romeo and Juliet, and then they gotta come together.
Forbidden love. I'll drink the poison if you do. On the count of 3.
But yeah, those are my two last honorable mentions. Vix, wrap up the podcast with your numero uno papa, and we'll hope that no asterisks out there.
My last good dad. You may not believe that he is a good dad, but if you sit back and you really pay attention, Juichiro Yukihira from Food Wars, main character's dad, he is actually really good as a dad. So he raised Soma from a child up to being a teenager or something, like a normal dad. And then he wanted the best. He wanted his son to be the best, because that's what his son wanted. His son wanted to be as good as he was, and in order to do that, he has to be the best. So in order to give him the opportunity to do that, he paid this massive tuition to get into the school's name is the cooking school. So Soma could go there, and usually it's only rich nobles and whatever wannabes and really high name people can get in there. So him getting there is really, really rare. But also he had to stop Soma from defaulting back to the diner. So he shut the diner down so that not only could Soma not give it up, he could He wanted to take away his backup option. So while it is kind of risky, he had enough faith in his son that he could do the cooking thing and that he could rise to that challenge. So we already knew that he was well connected to Soma through raising him from a child up to a teenager. And Soma never really talks bad about him, other than just picking on him. They're like giving him little friendly jabs or whatever. And everything that his dad says to him is encouraging, like everything. I think everything he says at any point has always been encouraging for Soma to like do better, all the way up to the point when Soma loses for the first time. Then I think that's the first time that he gets to actually converse with his dad again after joining the school, because he basically went no contact after that. And I think there was a reason for it. Without having read the source material, I believe that the reason for him going essentially no contact is because he was the best at that school. So he didn't want Soma to like use him as like a connection or like as like a shortcut. He's like, if I'm here, you will never meet me. So he's like, I need to leave. And then he does actually come back. And I think it's season 4. I think he comes back, and he actually comes back and he teaches Soma to like grow more. So he has like this really short training camp essentially on a train for Soma and the girl Irina, I think her name is. I can't really remember her name, but he's like very strict and like forthcoming with how he wants to do things, and he doesn't like step back. He doesn't just be like, "Oh, it's okay, son." No, he's very willing to push Soma past his limits, which I think is very good for like a father and father figure, is to just like, you have enough faith in your child. Like, you know that they can do better. Don't let them like cripple themselves. So I'm going to push you further. And that's what he does. Is he basically comes in and he's like, this is where you're lacking. You're in a team event, and you are going to learn how to do team event things, and this is where we learn to do it. So that's where that came in, is he ended up doing like a 2-person chefs, what the hell they got, shokugeki, I think they called their little matches. So they ended up doing like him and I think it was the principal of the school with Soma and the girl, and I'm pretty sure it was the principal, or at least the vice principal, because the principal is the girl's like grandpa. So they're like on their side essentially. So they're like, we're going to teach you how to do the good stuff. So they basically get to do that, and they end up growing not only like as chefs, which is like, you know, mostly the point of the show is to like improve your cooking, but they also kind of grow like as people, because the girl is very like snooty, like nose up kind of person. And like the more time she spends with like Soma and his dad, the more like open she is. She has like this great admiration for Soma's dad, but she didn't know for the longest time that was his dad. So so she was very like snooty about a lot of things, but she's very become open thanks to Soma, and Soma is really kind of like come into his own person because of the opportunities that Shuichiro gave him. So he also was not like, you know, going into that school is not something that just anybody can do. He definitely used some connections to get in there. Pretty sure that there was a tuition that was pretty steep though. Not sure how I don't remember how that went through, but I know he at least used connections because of his first or second place position, he was like, or whatever.
The greatest chef, right?
Yeah, and like the student council in that school like controls all decisions, like anything. So it's like if they decide that they want to make the school bigger, they can just do that. And I was like, what? But he was, I don't know. But he was one of them. He was one of those student council people. So I'm pretty sure that he used that to like let his son in, which is pretty sick. But he is probably going to be my last good father for the episode. I think we got some good ones up in here today. Definitely, definitely got some ones in here. Yeah, definitely got some good ones in here that I'm glad that only one of them was a landmine.
I mean, again, we talk about all the time.
I was like, I'm gonna go outside of shonen and I'm gonna get some slice of life ones, and
you played yourself.
Stay in my lane, I guess.
Hey, luckily we got our local fact checker Nova here, keeping us honest, keeping us on a good track of mind, because you know, he'll read a light novel, he'll read the manga all the way back and forward, front and back, So keep us on our toes, just so we don't have to, hear about it, a year down the line. And be like, hey, you guys really like this anime, huh? Cancel. No. But, that's anime, man. We all anime fans. We know how it is sometimes. We just,
So I hear you endorsed this anime.
We just in court. Officer, please judge, please.
This one.
I'm locked up. Won't let me out. But no, I think we did good today. I had a blast talking about all the dads. It's good to kind of look at that. It's kind of fun to be able to kind of go back to some of the shows that I watched in the past and I haven't thought about in a while from a new aspect and be like, yo, who was a good dad? Who was a good mom? How does that lead to make the show have an impact on you as a viewer and as an anime fan? It's interesting taking these little like topical podcasts or themed podcasts to look back at those shows in a different light, which is actually really fucking cool. So I'm glad we were able to sit down here and talk about all of the good dads in the podcast. And if you guys want to stay around, they'd be there for next year because it seems like everybody really want to talk about the terrible papas, all the bad dads in anime, which there's a shit ton of them. I can't wait to talk about Dragon from One Piece. I mean, some people will say he's a good dad, but that motherfucker just bounced. He's like, my son all right. While Garp's just throwing Luffy in the fucking jungle.
He got it. He's good. I got faith.
He free. But yeah, so we're going to have some fun next year for Father's Day. But I hope everybody who is listening and watching is having an amazing Followers Day. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on this June 16th with the DNanime podcast. If you guys want to support us, you can. Go and hit that subscribe button if you listen to the podcast for the first time so you can enjoy next week's episode and the week after and the week after next. And you can also hit that like button on the episode as well as that little notification bell that will ping you and notify you when the next podcast is live. I mean, come on, man. I know your commute's long to work. I know you tired. You need something to keep you up and keep you awake, keep you alert. And you want to get off that coffee, man. You want to get rid of that coffee jitter. So listen to the boys in your ears on your ride to work, when you're washing dishes, when you're coming home from work, when you just need to go to bed. You listen to us, talk to you, and read you to sleep. But thank you guys so much for supporting us. Check us out either on YouTube, on Twitch, on any audio podcast services of your choice. If we're on one or we're not on one that you want us to be on, let us know. I'm working on it. We're getting everywhere, man. But I appreciate all you guys listening to us. Thank you so much for spending another week with us. We'll be back next week for another fun episode with a bunch of fun topics. So I hope to see you guys then. Leave a comment down below in the YouTube video so we can keep the discussion going even when we're not on live. You can also give us a 5-star review on the audio podcast service of your choice. Help us grow this so we can get more people in to talk about what we all love, anime. Other than that, guys, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for our 13th episode, and we'll catch you guys next week.